guys, welcome in this new video. So in some coming videos we will be discussing about basic data structures that are used in day-to-day programming, and in today's video we will be discussing about arrays data structure. And we one thing I want to point out that this is not given in this Excel sheet, because this Excel sheet presumes that you are at intermediate level, but still we have to have the knowledge of some basic data structures that are asked upon these basic data structures as well. And with no further delay, let's get started. So first of all, we will go through the introduction to arrays, and then we will see some specific implementations to different languages like C, C++, Java, C Sharp, and Python. So with no further delay, let's get to the introduction of arrays. And first of all, I want to point out that arrays is just a collection of items that are stored at continuous memory locations. So basically, I am first of all talking about the C and C++ implementation of this, because in that there is continuous memory location for different collection of items. And it is not always that they are stored in continuous memory locations, because different languages have their different implementations. So basically, just you want to know that arrays are the collection of items used to be accessed, inserted, deleted in programming. And they are basically used to store some values that can be used in the program at a later stage. So just want to point out that the arrays, you can visualize them is this diagram. So basically they are zero index based arrays, and they differ according to the OS system which we are working upon. Some OS systems start their index from -1 and some from 1, but basically we have to presume that they start from 0. And as I said that the arrays in C, C++ implementation have continuous memory locations. So 200, 201, 202, 203, these are the continuous memory locations, and they are very useful because we can actually get the item in the index with order of 1 complexity. And they are basically the formula we can just derive as that. Let's say we want to access D from this array, then we just want the base address of this array, that is zeroth index address, that is 200. And just we want the size of the container, because they are always fixed. Let's say you have an integer array that is defined, that takes 4 bytes for each integer. So here the memory locations will be 201 to 205, because 1 plus 4 will be 5. But as these are the character array, so basically character just takes 1 byte, so memory locations will be 200, 201, and so on. So just we want that size and the value of the index of the item that we want to have the memory location of. So basically what we will do is we will just add 200, the base, we will add the base address and the offset value, that is the size of the container, into the index value. So basically what is here is 200 plus 1 into 6. So 1 into 6 will be 6, and adding it with 200 will give us 206. So this is the memory location. So this was some basic information that arrays are, why arrays are useful. And let's have a look upon some declaration in the C language. So arrays are defined like integer. If we have integer array, so array and the index the size of the array is given in the bracket, and we can initialize them with the array 0 equals to 5 and just print them to see. So I guess you will be knowing this as well. And also see, the advantage of arrays are that they allow us random access to elements. This makes accessing elements position faster. As I told, that order of 1 complexity is only required for this access. And arrays have better cache locality, that makes a pretty big difference in performance. So if we are using some indexes of the arrays more often, then it will be cached in the memory, and we will have a better access to them. And arrays represent multiple data items of the same type using a single name. So as I told, that they can store multiple items of same type in C and C++. So yeah, this is what is written, and we can just store them with a simple name like ARR or ARRAY. And like the disadvantage of using arrays is that you in C and C++ we cannot change the size of the array at runtime. and insertion and deletions are very like costly operations in C and C++, because we have to all like if we want to insert something, let's say in here at second level, then we have to first shift all the arrays to all the array items to the right first. So D will come at A's position, then A will come at E's position, and F will come at D's position, and so on like this. And then we will insert some value at this second index. So these are very difficult operations and costly operations. Not difficult, but like costly operations as per the time complexity. So one more thing is that yeah, this is just they are explaining what I just told. So application of arrays is that arrays stores the data elements of the same data type, and arrays can be used for CPU scheduling. Like many CPU scheduling algorithms are that, like round robin scheduling and other. So they can be used there, and they can also be used to implement other data structures like stack, queues, heaps, hash table, etc. So this was it about the C and C++. So let's see more in depth if anything is remaining. So why we need arrays? As I told you that they have random memory access to any element. So basically, yeah. And one more thing I want to tell, that in C and C++, somewhat the array, the compiler will give warning to some and to some not declarations. So we will see upon this as well, but let's just see if there are extra advantages given in here. So traversal through an array becomes easy in the single loop. So time complexity is just order of n for traversing through all the array elements, and also sorting is easy here. And disadvantage is that only the fixed number of elements can be given, and we cannot increase the size at runtime. And insertion and deletions are costly operations, as I just told you. So basically, um, let us see what I was talking about, the index out of bound error, like that kind of thing. So let's say if you have some array element that is declared for 2 size, okay, and we are just giving it 5 sizes, like 5 items in the array, but in C it will just give a warning and still declare the array, okay. But in C++ it will give an error and will not implement anything. So in C++ as well, if we do this thing, so what, it will just halt and just not work as it was desired to. And let me show you one thing, that array 10, this thing can also be written as 10 then array, okay. So like this 10 bracket 10 and closing bracket, this one can come in front here as well. So this is one more thing. And vector are basically also kind of arrays, but in this they are just an stl, like it is a class in stl that can change its size at runtime. So this is one good thing in here in C++. And it has all the functionalities of arrays and plus some of more functionalities. So now coming to the Python implementation of array. So Python, apart from list, we also have array, that can there is a module called array that can be useful when we have to manipulate a specific data type value. So just it is declared like this array, then data type, like what is it, integer, character, or something else, and then the values what we want. So basically this is a table that represent what type of value will it be. Let's say if we write there in this data type just b, this b, so it will be a signed char, okay. And capital B will represent unsigned char. Similarly, small I will represent signed int, and capital I will represent unsigned int. So mostly what this is mostly how Python is having implementation of array. So as I told you, array dot array, and you can declare this array like this, and just accessing them is similar as of in C and C++. And one more thing to keep in mind is that this array module doesn't store these items in sequential order, and they are dynamically stored in the memory. So this was also important thing. And a pop operation are also there, like see array pop 2, so it will just pop the second indexed element, so 0 1 2 here. So this will just become 3. See, this will pop this one, so array will become 1215 after removing that indexed element from there. And one is that and one more is this array dot remove one. So if we in here we will be just removing one from the array in the array, like the first occurrence of one. So 215 will be there after removing the one from the array. And you can see more this operations like reverse and index, that will just fetch some of the functionalities. So now coming to the array implementation in Java. So basically in Java, arrays are also dynamically allocated, and they are not like just some container. They are actually objects in Java. So we can actually change their value by passing the objects, not the array. In Java, we pass the object of the array to different functions, so that we can just manipulate the actual array in there from the main program itself. So a Java variable can be declared like other variables after the data type, as it is done in C and C++. And the variables in the array are ordered and each have an index beginning from 0. The arrays can be static field and local variable or a method parameter. Size of array must be specified by int or short value and not long. And the direct superclass of an array is array type is object. This is some Java specific information that is written here, and every array type implements the interfaces clonable in java.io.serializable. So these are some Java jargons, but just keep in mind these. If you don't know Java, it's cool, but just keep in mind how arrays are declared. So this as well, like C and C++, this can be declared like this. Some difference is there, but see, let's say int arr and then bracket, or int then bracket then arr, like this. So you can have somewhat in-depth knowledge in this if you want, but this was it for this Java implementation. Basically we create objects of arrays and just pass them to other functions to manipulate the array. And you can see this article as well. I will put down all the links to the articles that I am using to create this video in the description. So within this, let's go to the array implementation in C# as well. So in C#, arrays are also like typed like variables, and they can be referred with a common name. Okay, so in this as well we can use the same type of elements in the arrays, and they can be like char, int, float, etc. And long is also available here, and we can also use this length parameter to actually get the length of arrays. Like in C and C++, we have to use size of function that is used to get the size of the arrays. So in this length we'll just give the size of the arrays. And for the length of array in C and C++, we will first do the size of array, then divide it by the total items present in the array. Okay, so similar kind as of Java, C# is also dynamically allocated, and also like Java, arrays are objects in C#, and we can find their length by the member length. And this is different from C and C++, as I told you. So array, one thing to note is that this C# array is an object of base type system.array. Okay, and in Java it was of object. The superclass was object, and in here the base type is system.array. And the array types are reference types which are derived from the abstract base type array, and these types implement I enumerable for it, and they use for each iteration on all arrays in C#. So these are also some basic jargons in C# language. And let's just see what else is remaining. If it is important, I'll just tell you. So initialization of array is also similar, and like this we can just initialize different arrays. Um, and implementation of accessing array elements using different loops is also given in here. Multi-dimensional arrays is also given, you can check this out as well. And jagged arrays, so basically arrays whose elements are also arrays is known as jagged arrays, and it means array of arrays. So like multi-dimensional arrays, you it is somewhat similar to that, and you can just see the examples of this. And these are, you can also see this as a multi-dimensional array as well. So this was it for this video, and I covered most of the things that are actually useful uh, in learning this array. And see you in the next video. Till then, keep learning and keep watching.